Ugh, another old school map that we find ourselves back on, guys. It's going to be Belshire Vestige. This is the Norwegian StarLeague finale. Again, this was played out in the early part of 2013. We got to cast a lot of it. It was a lot of fun. We got to beat some new players. Team Apostas, like, populated the brackets and then some, but it comes down to these two homegrown Norwegian boys. I am Rifkin casting today with Zombie Grub, and in this best of 7, spawning in the top left corner of the map from the Team Liquid, it's going to be Snute.
And in the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is Targa.
Again with Harstom's lovely grinning picture there. So, without going too much into detail about it, guys, the map pool is old, and I'm talking really old. You just watched Johanna. Here we are on Belshire. Akalon Waste is still in this. Whirlwind is still in this. And I don't remember the map order off the top of my head, but you will eventually get to see both of those if it goes all the way. Now, this best of 7 has a lot of money on the line, but what's kind of a nice consolation is like, the person who loses today gets $450, guys. The person who wins gets $833. So obviously you want to win, because A, you get a lot of cash in your pocket, and B, you're the Norwegian champion!
You know what I think I like about this is that it's like, you ever like clean out your closet and find like $20?
Yep.
It's kind of like that, you
Except
know?
a
It's
tournament.
been so many months and you're like, hey, by the way, you can play it and no matter what, you're going to get some money. And you're like, oh man, great, I forgot about this.
Well, guys, worth noting, Snute did actually go for the 13-13 this time. With the gas coming first, this tells me he's really want to get that, really want to get that metabolic boost out there quick. Now, this is a build that can be very all-in-y. It should start with a bit of aggression at the very least. I don't know anyone who does 13-13 into like three bases or something. But we'll see what he can get done against Targa. It's worth noting, while Targa was the one who did put the pressure on in game number 1, he was able to hold Snoot's counterattack very well. Neither player lost drones till like, what, the 10-minute mark or something? I mean, and even then it was like 2. So I don't think this will be like the end of the game for Targa, but he's got to be ready for this coming. Now, the Overlord will scout this, thankfully, but I don't know. It's not like a 6 pool. It's not like an 8 pool. This isn't something that's going to make you exactly poop your pants.
Snoot's not doing anything with it, though, which is a little surprising. He's going to get that hatch. He didn't spend any money on Lings, even though he got that earlier pool. I mean, I imagine he's going to eventually, but really not using that early pool to actually do anything as of yet. And that's unfortunate, because Targa did go for, I think, the latest pool you can, besides going for a 3 hatch before pool. I mean, it was a hatch, gas, and then pool, so... yeah, maybe Snute could have done something. Actually, he throws out the Baneling Nest, so there we go. That's where the aggression's going to come from. A very early Baneling Nest.
I was thinking this would just be sticking to Lings, but when you add Banelings into the mix, this becomes incredibly volatile. And this is where it actually starts getting towards that all-in stage, where if you devote your money to Banelings, you have to cause damage. You can't just sit in the middle of the map with Banelings. One of the other observers, point out the...
Ow. Well,
better love
now
than
Targa... Yeah, Targa actually saw that the hatch was really kind of late, you know? It wasn't quite a 15 hatch, so he's probably, you know, expecting some aggression, and Snoot's gonna actually save a single Ling to try and go out and scout ahead, I suppose, while the rest do catch up. He has that Baneling Nest, but he's actually joining up behind it, so he's not really looking to end the game at all. And getting that hatch, of course, you can go out of this. It wasn't, as Rifkin's been saying, that much of an all-in. But Banelings versus no Banelings.
Ooh, that's
no
16
what,
Lings
it can
coming out
be
of
hard.
Targa, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but one misclick. I mean, slow Lings. Everyone's so used to seeing Speedling, Baneling, but actually Speed just finishes. So never mind.
Well, this one Baneling's not going to get a lot done right now. And of course, Targa just sent a lot across the map. Snoot not getting the best connection. Back at home, he's got a spine crawler going down, but he's going to need way more than a spine crawler. This is looking really bad. He's only just now got Lings popping out. No time to make Banelings either. Oh
darn.
God,
this is looking really terrible.
He's pulled drones. He's trying to keep that queen alive. The queen's actually doing a ton of damage. He's killing a lot of Lings up to, well, only 2 kills, but the drones have also secured some too. Baneling's being morphed directly on the ramp though. For Snute, this is looking really grim. More Lings just flooding across the map from Targa. And Snoot's, don't use the Baneling on the cocoon. He's the Baneling on the cocoon. That's gonna sting.
Okay, so if Snute doesn't take any damage from this, he does have more drones. But oh jeez.
If Snute does take no damage from this, he is a god, is what he is. But I don't know if he
he's dubbed the Banelings are gonna the Banelings are not gonna morph actually, but the Link's taking out drones anyway, so he does lose out on drones. He does survive though.
This is this is
Look at that. Okay,
Zombie
so he
Grove.
survived. He's only down by 2 drones.
I've cast Korean ZVZs that have been nowhere near as dynamic as this. Like, Norway, please, where have you guys been? Let's get more Norwegians in StarCraft.
You know, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Targa shouldn't have tried to like end the game immediately by going up to the main. Maybe if he actually just like had like a stakeout and actually, you know, frontal ZVZ, Bling Wars. I don't know, but he's still doing damage. He's still forcing out, you know, Snute obviously to make lings, so he will have a 2-drone lead for quite a while. Targa, that is. Try and also hide some lings in the main and morph into banelings. Not gonna work out as Snute does. I mean, that's one of the things you always have to make sure to remember is the scout.
Oh, I like that split.
Wars.
Good baneling control out of Snute so far. Unfortunately, throwing that one into a cocoon a little bit messy there, but he's got a lot of lings now to defend with. The drone count is dead even at the moment. This is...
How did that happen? Snute just like...
Snute's able to sneak in drones. He's magic.
2 drones right there.
It's the power of Team Liquid.
Apparently. Well, we do have Targa finally joining up back at home as well, so unfortunately he's going to have a bit of a lead in this, right? Because he's the one that knows, he's kind of setting the pace right now, so he's like, okay, now I'm going to drone, so, you know, you're going to have to decide, can I drone? Like, should I keep defending? 2 banelings are going to morph, but Snoop's always been pretty key on scouting out his base, and it does not work.
I like this out of Targa though because it's such a low risk. You know, you throw away 2 Zerglings for the chance to possibly wipe out a mineral line, like absolutely worthwhile if you can get away with it. But at this point, resources lost have actually kind of evened up. I mean, this is such an absurdly strange but incredibly entertaining game that we've had to witness so far. And the thing is, guys, no one's looking towards roaches yet. Like, I think it's on everyone's mind, but I think both players have fully recognized. Oh no, Snoop almost loses all his Zerglings. That could have been bad. But both players gotta recognize, like, this Zergling baneling phase is far from over.
Well, it doesn't quite get a drone right there, and we'll go into the main, and there's no queen up there, so they will maybe get 1 or 2. Oh, good control on Targa. Oh, gets 1.
I want to point out too, like, a lot of this stems from like what I was focusing on Targa earlier, where we had First Blood, like, where the ling fight, where it was 2 lings versus 2 lings, was so micro-intensive, and we're seeing that be reflected in the grand scale of things here, like, in the, I don't want to call it the late or even the mid game, but still like the early game.
Yeah. It is going into 11 minutes, which is usually the mid game, but it's still playing like the early game. Targa is going up to 3 more gases, though, so we could be seeing some mutas out on the way while Snute decides to go for the roaches. Very classic ZVZ right here. Trying to get the banelings with his own. It does not quite work out, but instead the spine crawler gets him, and he doesn't have to wait any of his banelings. That actually worked out very well for Snute.
Oh my god, Targa just barely doesn't get that drone either. Like, there's... the amount of just bareleys in this game so far have been ridiculous. Now, what is worth noting, guys, I really like the roaches better than the Mutalisk in this scenario. One thing about Belshire, let's not forget, is it has that deceptively... It's got a pretty short rush distance. So, for Snute to finish up his roaches, if he goes for like a roach baneling all-in off of this, like, it's almost like a build order win, because like, Targa's not going to have Mutalisk out in time to deal with it. But if Snute hesitates for even like 30 seconds, then Targa's got Mutalisk, he snipes off the banelings before the roaches are even across the map, and he cleans up the roaches with the Mutalisk. So this is going to become very, very timing sensitive.
Yeah. Well, how many times have we really seen Snute do for the roach baneling? Well, okay, we've only casted 1 GZ, but hey, he's not really been that aggressive, I would say. So roach baneling all in, probably not going to happen, although it might have won him the game. But that roach attack that you always see when some player goes roach, then the player goes mutas, that I'm surprised is not happening so far. In fact, Snute, I don't think is kind of thinking of what his opponent's doing. He's kind of just thinking defend and expand, you know? So,
I would really
he might be blindsided by these mutas.
I would really like if Snute sacrificed an Overlord to go in there right now, because he has no vision of the main. He doesn't even know if a layer's done, much less
he's going for 2? I mean, he was getting 3 more, you know, gases, but I was like, he got a Roach Warren. Okay, the thing is, even though Targa gets an earlier Spire, Snute has an earlier 3rd, and the 3rd usually becomes more important. Yeah.
So the key thing about this game, guys, like, we all know, like, you don't need us to tell you, like, Mutalisk versus Mutalisk Wars can be really stupid. 1 extra Mutalisk can win you the game just outright through a fight. But if you can't pick off a Mutalisk to get ahead in that regard, the next best thing is to outproduce your opponent by having extra gases up early, by having this 3rd base finished. If Snute holds on to this, he is absolutely going to get ahead of Targa in a big way. Now, the key difference is, up to this point, Snoot's made a lot more banelings than Targa throughout the course of the game. So that's why we see this bigger gas deficit right now.
That's a good point. He has been making a lot more banelings. He's going to try and see if the 3rd is even up, and then probably try and deny, which is, it's usually, seriously, like when Heart of the Swarm, I guess I'm sure most of you guys forgotten or purposely forgotten. It used to be all ZVZ Muta versus Muta.
Yeah, yeah.
It was always like who could kill the third, and if you killed the third, you usually won.
Well, see, right now the thing I'm worried about is like the third is supposed to get you ahead, but it might just simply equalize the field for Snute.
Yeah, okay. It's gonna be really hard to say because usually in ZVZ Muta versus Muta, you don't like the 1 or 2 deficit. You know, Muta deficit doesn't ever play a part. It's always.
It depends where the fights come down. I think more than.
It's usually not in the first stages though, unless they're very, very sure that your mutas are so late they can get an edge. Because it's really hard to guesstimate how many mutas there really are. I mean, there's like an in-control thing on State of the Game where he's like, "I have more flappy things than you do," but it's really hard to actually see it.
More wings flapping. Well, actually, one thing that I will never forget, I think it was on Belshire too. I can't remember the map. I know you said I'll never forget, but it was like Kayn versus Scarlet. They both were Mutalisks. Scarlet lost all of her Mutalisks to Kayn, so Kayn had like, you know, 18, 20 or whatever, and Scarlet still managed to win that game despite losing in the early game. So, I mean, if you are good enough, you can make up losses that would otherwise end the game for most players.
Yeah,
but
there was a Jaedong versus Cyril, actually, and he, that young up-and-coming player. And
the new My Insanity player?
Yeah, so Jaedong actually lost his Mutaflock twice, I think, and almost came back. Like, it was a really epic long game, but... Anyways, we actually saw Targa. He was thinking about transitioning into roaches because he wasn't sure. He didn't know that Snute was going for his own mutas. As soon as he saw the mutas, canceled it. You know, going headlong into it. Unfortunately, I really think Targa was expecting Snute to go for mutas because +1 attack is not what you want.
Yeah, that should have been Carapace if he knew this was going to be Muta Wars. For those who don't know the difference, real quick, you'd think like +1 armor versus +1 attack would be the same thing, would cancel each other out. But the +1 Carapace benefits you a little more because it reduces the glaive worm bounce damage as well. So I mean, Targa's gonna have upgrades for sure. Snoot's not gonna put down another Spire for the sake of upgrades by any means, but.
Yeah, so it is going to work out for Targa actually really, really well, just because he got that so fast that the Carapace is going to be even. So Targa looking pretty good in the Muta versus Muta war, but there is always that decision. You know, some player can decide, I'm not winning, or I don't think I'm going to win, so I'm going to go for an Infestation Pit. And that's, as I talk about it, that's what Snoot's doing. He's putting up the Spore Crawlers because you do need those to hold on in case they do decide to attack.
The Infestation Pit can be so risky, though. I mean, you have to have such good control with those Infestors.
Yeah, that's why the Spore Crawlers are there. Like, you can't just, like, depend on your lower number of mutas to save you as you try and transition, so he's gonna need more though, because Targa's not gonna stop building mutas, and you need to like cover, like literally cover your base. If they find one hole, like that's a lost layer or something.
Yeah, even one Spore Crawler sometimes won't cut it. It's getting to the point where the Mutals will start one-shotting them. I mean, both players, what are they at? 23 and 27 respectively. Whoa, actually 27 Mutals is a huge lead for Targa right now. Of course, this is the cost of Snute going for the Infestors, guys. He yields a lot of gas to get the Infestors and that Pathogen Glands upgrade out. But if you get, like, you don't even need to land every Mutalisk. If you even get a quarter of those Mutalisks fungled on top of a Spore Crawler, you're gonna win that fight. But still coming in with a lot of Zerglings here. Snute is being so careful not to engage away from his Spore Crawlers.
Well, there's one Spore Crawler in the fight right there, but there's that hole I was talking about. He could actually try and go for the hatch. It's not in range of the Spore Crawlers, but it is rather scary with Snoot's own mutas in here. The +1 Carapace upgrade is not finished, and Snute is going for it.
He's repositioning his Spores. Can these get broed in time? It's going to be a really big factor in this game. Look at the units tab, though. Snoot's just not a Mutalisk, guys, just period. He's lost his entire flock. There's almost no Banelings left at home. There's 2 to defend with. This is really scary, but if you can get those fungal growths out, there's 9 Infestors, guys. That's enough to lock down the Mutals. That's enough to kill the Lings.
I don't know if it's really going to work out, though. I mean, 9 Mutals is a lot of fungal. You can't actually take down the entirety of the Mutalisk flock, but Targa took such a great engagement, and now actually going for the Spine Crawlers so the Lings can do the damage. Not quite working out, but we have Lings in the main, and Lings going into the natural as well. No more Banelings for Snoots. Oh, the Infestors pop out, but using your fungals on Lings actually isn't that great.
One-shot a Baneling with a fungal growth, but not Zergling, so looking really, really grim here for Liquid Snute, who it feels like he took a nosedive here with that fight. That was Muta versus Mutas for you guys. That's what that really comes down to. Targa just flooding Lings non-stop at this point. If Snute can get a couple Banelings out, a couple decent connects, that like 30 Zergling remax is not really that scary, but looks like Snoot's gonna have to yield his third, which is gonna be really unfortunate. This will really set him far behind.
Yeah, almost uncomfortable, I'd say. Infestors, you know, they used to be that unit that always brought you back into games, and technically they still can, I suppose, but Targa's he knows about it too. Like, if they were a surprise Infestor, burrow tactics even, like, maybe that's different too, but he's gonna make sure to split, or just to send his Lings in first.
What's really scary too is a lot of these Infestors are low enough that, like, glaive bounces are gonna kill them.
Yeah.
But 11 more Mutos on the way, continuing to invest into this, taking a fourth while this is going on. Targa is looking really good right now. This is his game to lose, and what's kind of nice for Snute, I guess, is he's up one at the moment. Losing this game is not going to be the end of his universe, but of course you never want to give up that lead for free.
No.
Ooh, trying to get the connects he needs with these Infestors. A little too slow, a little too sluggish. Couldn't quite catch the Mutalisks in time. Okay, there's two things I really want to draw attention to this game, though, that we haven't really talked about. One is, like, Targa in Game 1 did this as well, where he really invests a lot into static D. That's the sort of stuff that makes me rip my hair out as a caster when you're watching a professional player who's a million times better than you ever would be at StarCraft 2, not throw down like a Spore Crawler type thing. But Targa does it at every base. He's got Spine Crawlers as well. He's even repositioned them to his new base to make sure he's safe and secure. But Snute does it as well. And what Snute's been doing, or rather been trying to do through these fights, is he's been actively moving his buildings too to make sure they're in range. Like, all of these subtle little things are not commonly seen in CVC. And I'm really appreciating the fact that both of these players are doing it.
Did you remember that the Spore Crawler actually got a buff in its burrow time?
No, I don't remember that actually. But
it was a long time ago. It was like on Zelnaga, you know, when that was still in the map pool. I think.
That would be cool to see though, because I mean, like, you don't see enough people doing that, and even if it was just like a fraction of a second, still maybe that encourages people to play.
It was
better.
pretty. I actually don't remember the exact time, but now that's why they burrow so much faster, and everyone was like, "Did you mean to make it a Spine Crawler buff?" Because that was what everyone thought was more useful, but.
Yeah.
Spore Crawlers ended up helping 2 years later when it was all Muta versus Muta. Yay!
David Kim, the prophet. Well, right now, I like that. I really like that Targa's still been trying to run around with these Lings. He's definitely not going for kills, but he's just looking for scouting information. What kind of sucks though is both players are mined out of their main at this point. Snute, not in a great way. He's going for Hydralisks right now. With some Infestors doing fungal growth, that'll be great, but let's be honest, when you hit like 40 plus Mutalisks, even Hydralisks don't really scare you that much.
Wow. He did go to Rocheborn. I thought he would have not had this many Mutas, but that is still a lot of Mutas.
You know, you typically try and transition out of Mutalisks into Roaches, right? But I think because he got such a big lead early on, like, I understand that investment, but again, a couple good fungals could really just wreck Targa's day. That's
true. That is so many Mutas, though, that you can just, like... I mean, you're not going to because of StarCraft Net Brood War, but you hotkey like like 7 hotkeys with each just a few Mutas, and you go in on the Infestors, and they're like, "What do I do?"
Worth noting too, guys. Sorry, we haven't been paying much attention to Targa. A lot of the focus has been on Snute. He just finished up his own infestation bid. He just finished his own upgrades. He's got his own Infestors now on top of this, so he's got like 40 plus Mutalisks. Sorry, not 40, 36 Mutalisks. He's gonna have a lot of Infestors too. We're gonna see fungal growth wars like crazy.
He should just dive into the main. Like, he needs to find out where the Infestors are and then dive into the main, because that would be a problem if the Infestors are there.
Targa going for the Ultros Cavern this game. This is, you know what? This is just not gonna work out too well for Snute. He's kind of faced with the same. It's like a role reversal scenario, except instead of Roach Hydra, it's gonna be Mutalisk Ultralisk, which is even more deadly.
That's terrifying as a Terran player.
It's terrifying as a Zerg player too.
Yeah, well, Snute's trying to get back into this game, and surprisingly, he is actually up in supply. Of course, that is Targa waiting to, you know, fill that supply with Ultras, because look at that bank, he has one. But the upgrades are actually going to be very important, as Snute doesn't really have any. I mean, that +1 Carapace doesn't really work out now, except for his Overlords.
And Snute still with very limited scouting information this game. I mean, he doesn't know about the 5th. He never saw the Hive go down. Like,
5 bases. That's another thing we forgot to mention. It's Targa.
He's got control of the map.
Yeah, he really is. So Snute, and the problem is that he can. As a Muta player, you are supposed to control the map and double expand and all that. So, you know, Snute would love to kill one of these bases or even scout one of the bases, but he's been so afraid of moving out.
I'm so scared. I have no idea where the engagement's finally gonna get slapped down, but of course, Targa is looking pretty darn good no matter where the fight happens. He's got static defenses at all of his bases. Even if it's a minor amount, it's still a huge contribution to the fight. Fungal growth's gonna lock these units on the ramp here. Snute needs to get some perfect fungals. He throws down a hell of a lot of infested Terrans, though. If these Mutalisks get locked in place, they're gonna get shredded to bits. But just the infested Terrans are not enough. It looks like the Hydra's adding a ton of damage behind this. But here come the Ultralisk and Targa's own infested Terrans.
It's a wall of Snoot's infested Terrans, though. The Ultras actually are taking down energy-based units, and they're dying.
Oh my god. Targa.
What the hell?
I don't know. I thought Targa was just going to walk through that fight.
Yeah, but those infested Terrans were actually really brilliant. Now we have not mentioned the fact that there was a huge counterattack. Snoot actually lost his hive in the main base.
Wow.
A lot of drones at the natural as well. He was way too focused. Well, I mean, he wasn't too focused, but he was focused on that fight.
That makes more sense than why Targa lost that big fight, though. He had less army supply here. But no, that's almost, I don't know, with these new Ultras, it's going to be hard to hold this because Snoot doesn't. Sorry, it's not hard to hold. It's going to be easy to hold because Snute doesn't have energy on these infestors anymore. There's not going to be that wall of infested Terrans. Ultras coming from both sides. Not looking too good here for Targa or for Snute. Targa looking so good with so many Ultralisks. 11 in total. Oh my god.
That was pretty sick. Like, seriously, if Targa couldn't reproduce 11 Ultras at a time, that actually might have been, like, you know, the ball rolling type of thing, because Ultras pop out one at a time, actually not that great, but that wasn't the case. Snute is going to lose this game. GG.
All right, map number 2 going to go to Targa, guys, evening this up 1-1. But, you know what? I normally moan and groan in ZVZ because you're like, great, we're going to spend 20 minutes waiting for the road just to max out. But these two talented players have not been disappointing. Not in the slightest.